Hello everyone, my name is Jesper Lagerman. I'm making this video on the 22nd of January 2023, and I'm first and foremost the father of a little girl who is in a few months will be turning 2 years old, and I'm deeply concerned about her ability to actually have a future and survive in the world, given the nature and climate emergency that is ever more apparent is going to create immense amount of suffering, death and violence to the world as we know it and to the people we all love, whether that's people in our closest family, friends, or anyone alive today. So I'm making this video from Oslo, Norway, where I'm based, and this video is an invitation to support the work that I'm doing in empowering civil resistance organizing, and through the Patreon account that I've just created, and I will share more about what it is that I do and how you can support if you want to. So as we're briefly speaking about, the core challenge of our time is the nature and climate emergency, and having been involved with this field of campaigning and actions for some years now, it's become ever more apparent to me that there is a lack of skill and depth of knowing on how to do civil resistance organizing, or people-powered organizing, as you could call it, to change the situation. Most of the people I know and meet who are aware about the emergency that we're in, but who are not actively taking part in some initiative, campaign or actions, or part of the wider climate movement, they say usually two things. They say the system is too big, and the interest who wants to keep the system as they are too powerful, and I'm too small and I can't really do anything about it. So it's a bit overwhelming and I give up. And I don't see any real prospect of a people-powered way how this will be changed. So people kind of close off from reviewing the situation because it's overwhelming, and they feel at a loss on how to actually make any meaningful contribution. And the second thing that people usually say to me is human beings are too greedy, self-centered, or are just not cut out to deal with this kind of complex challenge and problems that we are in with the nature and climate emergency. And all of this can be has in previous times in history, there has been an uproar of civil society organizing to meet such complex and society-wide challenges. And this is what me and other people are also attempting, and this is what we see as the best chance we have to actually slow down and halt the destruction of our world and the conditions that we all and all the people we love are totally reliant on: food, water, social stability. And as we see around the world, that can turn upside down in a very little time, like the floods in Pakistan, where a third of the country were inundated with water. They speed blizzard around the US just recently, the wildfires in Europe this summer. So the climate and nature emergency is here, and it's going to increase at a rate that we cannot really, that as a ordinary person living today can really fully understand how extreme this will be. So we really need to put so much resources and time and commitment and passion into slowing this and trying to break it to a halt, this development with this emergency. So myself, I've been working on this through some of my academic studies. I did undergraduate or bachelor's in human geography in 2017. I wrote my final essay on theories of change, on how do you actually, if you want to create a certain change, what are the theory that you're basing this on, and how can you do a kind of comprehensive approach instead of just saying I want change and then not know really how you're going to go about it, and then most people give up very quickly because it's quite a complex situation we're in, and it requires a sophisticated way to do civil resistance organizing in actually confronting this in a good way. And since the autumn of 2020, I started a master's in human geography at the University of Oslo, in what are the internal mechanics for scaling civil resistance organizing. And after I became a father, I've taken some break from that, but I'm restarting that right now. And so my main passion in the work that I'm doing is kind of how does groups really function well together? What are needed for people to voluntarily put forward their time and other resources in order to empower civil resistance towards this death project that the elites in our society are well knowing about, but seem to be unmotivated or not concerned to actually change, even though it will affect them and their family and everyone they love also. So one of the reasons where I feel that I have something to contribute in this field is I've been acknowledging how for the last 30 or 40 years we haven't been able to do the changes that are needed with trying to progressively organize people against the situation we're in. So we need to acknowledge the pitfalls in progressive culture and progressive organizing, and we need to learn from history on how to do organizing better. So I've been listening along into and found some really good voices on the subject, which several of them point to the same things on how we need to do things differently, and that we need to have a longer historical lens on how we understand what is needed and what's possible in terms of civil resistance organizing. And I'm fully committed to doing whatever is needed to create the change we need, and I'm not afraid to go against the grain, go against the norms of also the progressive culture that I am a part of. And I think that's a key quality in these times, that we need to do that and really question are the ways that we've been employing for the last 30 or 40 years, have they been sufficient or not? So I'm very committed to doing this in a long-term perspective, and together with other people, and to enable this to have deep roots in the sense of drawing on a deeper historical and empirical way of what do we need to do in order to organize effectively and in a way that enables the change we need. So my work until now has been with Extinction Rebellion in Norway, on and off in different roles, and over the time I've realized that I need a much deeper analysis and solution to how to do civil resistance organizing if we are to win. And since December 2022, I was a co-founder of Stopp Oljeletinga, which means Just Stop Oil Norway, and working with this civil resistance campaign in order to change the Norwegian policy and the public's understanding of Norway's oil exploration. I've been doing a number of workshops throughout these years, and since this fall I'm also leading a study group on how to work with strategy in civil resistance organizing, which has been really exciting to work together with a group of people who want to learn this and deepen their skills in this area. So the situation is right now why in part I'm launching this Patreon request and initiative is in a few weeks I will be beginning a course with one of the foremost leaders in this field on how to really do good organizing, which is the basis for creating good mobilization, which is the basis for creating the social, political and financial changes we need. So this is a course held by a man called Marshall Gans at the Harvard Kennedy School in the US, and it's an online course together with people from all around the world engaged in various forms of civic or civil engagement from a grassroots perspective, and it's called Leadership, Organizing and Action, Leading Change. The course fee is $2,700 US, which equals about 28,000 Norwegian kroner. So I will need support in order to be able to participate in this course, and also ongoingly, so I can really focus on giving my all into this work and empowering civil resistance organizing. So what I want to offer for those who want to be official supporters on Patreon for this, I will be making regular videos like this, and that also have more text and other media attached to it on how to deepen in the craft of civil resistance organizing, and also summarize the ongoing study group that on what we find out together and how to really, what are the key elements to do this, and how are we progressing and deepening into this craft of doing people-powered organizing, which hasn't really been in existence in the northwestern Europe since in a deep way since the labor movement, basically 1890, 100 years ago. So we have some tradition to catch up on. And for those who want to become official patrons, you can find more information on how to do that on the Patreon account. I will also give you invites to the online and face-to-face workshops that I will be conducting in Sweden or in Norway, and there's also been some requests to do it in other parts of Europe, so we'll see how that happens or when it happens. So just to round off, it's super exciting to be alive. These are terrifying times, but we can really come together, I believe, in a really good way. And really, if many of us recognize the need to develop a deep sense on how we organize people in this kind of way, I believe we can really slow down and hopefully stop this madness that we're hurtling towards. And even if we don't, we will need to be able to come together on a local level together with other people as the changes and the breakdown of society will deepen. We will be increasingly reliant on how to actually work together with people in our neighborhoods, in our local communities. So this skill set of doing civil resistance organizing and community organizing on a grassroots level is an ability that will be increasingly important for all of us. So I hope you want to join with me in this journey and learn together, and thank you so much for your support.